Hi, hello everyone. This is Michael Williams with Real Estate Bloodhounds. Today I'm making a video on my book that I wrote back in 2015. See if I can give it a little more traction because I think it's an interesting topic. It's a book that I created when I went around and asked people a specific question and got 100% participation, which was amazing. Even total strangers wanted to discuss this subject, which is what would you do if you won the lottery? Now, the name of the book that is on Amazon is If I Won the Lottery, Breaking the, no, I'm sorry. If I won the lottery, the steps I would take to create generational wealth. All right. I'm going to go over a few pages of the book just to show you guys what's in it. If you think it's interesting, give it a read. I think it's something that can pertain to anyone at any level of financial understanding, and mostly people that could actually have a windfall or a lump sum of money to come into their possession. I think it could help greatly because what I did, I spoke to many wealthy people while writing this book. So a lot of them contributed to a lot of the information that's in here. So even though I have not won the lottery, I did speak to people who had millions of dollars in the bank and got their perspective, and also the average person of what they would do if they came into this windfall, and then I kind of compared that to the wealthy people that I spoke to, and I do know a lot of wealthy people, and you probably know a lot of wealthy people too. You just don't know that they're wealthy because a lot of them don't broadcast what they have, and I don't blame them. So let's get into the book. All right, if I won the lottery, the steps I would take to create generational wealth. Of course, in my opinion, and I use the name Michael Outlaw because my wife's last name is Outlaw. It's a badass name, and I wanted to use it, so I used it. All right. First of all, let's get this disclaimer out of the way. Since most of the information in this book may be construed as financial or legal advice, I must post this disclaimer. I'm not licensed in finances or law, so the information in this book is for entertainment purposes only. Therefore, you will read a lot of, in my opinion, within the subject matter. It's always best to seek the help of a licensed lawyer for matters concerning law and a certified professional for matters concerning financial planning. Now, if we got that out the way and I won't be sued, let's go deeper into the book. First of all, I'd like to dedicate this book to my wife, first and foremost, who has been by my side and remains by my side despite my faults and shortcomings. She continues to support me, and I couldn't have found a more loving and caring ride or die chick. So shared chick to share the next 50 years with me. I'm also dedicating this book to my two children, Devon and Maya, for whom I'm driven to create a system that creates wealth for them to pass on to their children. That should always be part of your goal. Let's get to the meat of this thing here. All right, to the many strangers whom I've interviewed to get the human condition information for this book, I thank you for sharing your thoughts and feelings about this subject. I would also like to thank my co-workers for sharing so much of their private lives with me to fill the pages of this book. You guys have also made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside by showing your excitement and your willingness to support me by getting the word out about this project. I love all of you with the deepest depths of my heart. Without your input, this book would not have been possible. Oh, let me go back here. A special thanks to Mr. Frankie. Thanks, Frankie. Malcolm, Hazel, Richard, Greg, and Angelica for encouraging me, reading my earlier versions, and giving me your honest opinions while guiding me during this process. I found out this is an interesting topic to write about because I received 100% participation from friends, family, and even total strangers that were willing to drop what they were doing to join the discussion. The input was tremendous. All right, let's get into what we're talking about here. All right, let's get the conversation started. What would you do if you won the lottery? Who would you help? How far into your family pool would you go to help? Or only immediate family or into first cousins and beyond? Would you let go of your past grudges and would you let go of your past grudges? Let me get this out the way here. Would you let go of your past grudges and help that family member that caused you pain? Would you say to the hell with everyone? Excuse me. Can evaluating how we answer these questions help decrease the number of lottery winners that lost their winnings within 5 years? Let's discuss it. I titled this book "If I Won the Lottery" because I want you, the reader, to imagine your name in the place of I in the title. I want you to dream of all the things you would buy, all the people you would help, and most importantly, all of the investments for the future you would make. I feel that planning is the most important part or the most important step after winning a lottery, especially if your winnings are in the millions. Although planning is the most important step, getting the financial education about money and how it works will be key to you maintaining and managing your newfound wealth. It is important to know that once you are suddenly confronted with the fact that you won the lottery, you are rich, there are some fundamental rules that will benefit you. I will attempt to help you understand some of these rules and to hopefully give you some tips that will guide you to a very long and prosperous life after winning. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 29 years old. I served in the military. I've sold insurance, co-owned a recycling company, and co-owned a clothing business. I operate a graphic design company and sell real estate. I still sell real estate to this day. I've even been homeless before and understand what it is to struggle. But the one thing I'm most proud of is that I'm open-minded and believe that it's very important to know who you get your information and advice from. I've always considered myself a voice of reason, but I can also be kind of know-it-allish, as my wife say. Sometimes she would say all the time. So I have to catch myself. I'm an avid reader and researcher and love learning new topics. I love debates and like to confront the information with reputable internet sources. I usually like to check out 3 or more sites on a subject before I settle on the best answer for a problem or a particular subject matter. And I've read a lot of books, so I use that information that I remember from those books as well. I try to listen to both sides of an argument and remain objective. But some views on certain subjects I'm not going to be swayed on. That's just the way I am. All right, who do you listen to is a very important phrase to me. How can a broke, unsuccessful businessman tell me how to run a lucrative, successful business? That's the point. They can't. So who you get your information from is very important. Even though I have never won the lottery, I feel I have some information and philosophy that will at least make you think a bit more critically than you have been. I've read Law of Success by Napoleon Hill and Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. These are the 2 books that have had the most effect on my life and continue to have an effect on my life. I consider myself a self-motivated person. I've taught myself graphic design, how to write business plans, real estate investing, dynamics of dating, and now writing this book, which is my first. I don't have a college degree, but I did earn a high school diploma. I believe when a mind is open, it puts the world at your fingertips. And when a mind is closed, you can only traverse the front yard. That's all me there. By Michael Outlaw. This book is a collection of my thoughts and opinions and from information that I've gathered from over 30 years of observation of people, with emphasis on lottery winners. I've noticed that most lottery winners always end up broke or dead in a short period of time after becoming suddenly rich. Although I've never won the lottery and don't know anyone personally who has, which I actually had. I had a cousin that won $400,000. I forgot about that. And he went through the same pattern. I feel that I have some ideas of why this is the case. This book is a synopsis of some of the problems I feel contributed to this high number of failures, so-called lucky people. Many of them would say it's more of a curse than luck. Although these are only my opinions, I feel that most rational and forward-thinking people will agree with many of my opinions. So let's jump right in. My reasoning is everything and everyone is connected, and we all come together and think as one with love. Then we can change the world situation. But as long as we're divided and succumbing to the tricks and tricks implemented by those in power, we won't achieve justice for all people on planet Earth. I've always wondered how America has remained a corporation of 300 million people with so-called freedoms and still have an enormous poverty rate and the world's largest prison population. In my opinion, the system is designed to perpetuate that scenario. As a forward-thinking individual, I believe that everyone can create their own opportunities and destiny if they learn and embrace the formula. My formula is love of self and others, patience, a given spirit, and continued education. There's another one by me, y'all. All right, let's go. So we're going to go over some of the first chapter, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this. But I just want to give you an idea of what's in the book so you can see if it'll be an interesting read for you. All right, the first chapter is the lottery curse. Most people believe that winning the lottery is a curse. Judging from the statistics of the percentage of lottery winners that encounter extremely bad luck or even death, it's easy to see why many would think that. But in this book, I like to examine another reason behind the terrible things that happen to lottery winners and why so many of them end up broke or even dead within 7 years. It may not be that the lottery is cursed, but the fault, in my opinion, lies 100% on the actions of the winner. The money is just that, money. It doesn't tell you what to buy. It helps you to buy. It doesn't tell you who to help. It allows you to help. It doesn't force you to stay in your place of residence. It gives you an opportunity to move almost anywhere. The point is that money isn't making the decisions. You are. You're in full control of what money does. So I think the full blame should be placed where it's solely due, and that's on you, the lottery winner. It said, for the love of money is a root of all evil. 1 Timothy 6:10. It doesn't say money is the root of all evil. Omitting the first 4 words in this phrase completely changes the message. If there's a pile of money sitting on a highway in a briefcase, nothing happens as long as it sits there under the bridge. But as soon as it is discovered, that's when things start to happen. All of a sudden, the homeless guy finds the briefcase and tells his other friends. He goes out and starts buying things and is noticed by some local thugs. The thugs plan to rob the homeless guy, and in the process of robbing him, the homeless guy ends up dead. So the police catch up with the thugs, and a gun battle ensues, ending with 2 dead thugs and 3 wounded police officers. The money didn't rob anybody. The reaction of the human element to the money caused the death of 3 people and injures 2 officers of the law. So the person pursuing the money because of their love of money is to blame, not the money itself. I've also heard many deeply religious people say that they're not interested in having a lot of money because it'll bring evil into their lives. But the same people that say this are stressed out because they don't have enough money to provide a decent life for their family. I'm not criticizing anyone for their religious belief, but I think it's contradictory to say that you don't want a lot of money but constantly talk about not having enough. This is a counteractive thinking. Counteractive thinking. Many religious people won't play the lottery, but will be the first ones at the doorstep of the family member that has won the lottery for a handout. Blessing. Most have their way of thinking because of the 2 words omitted from the Bible passage. Now that we've established that money isn't the root of all evil, but the love of money is the root, and that there's no curse on the lottery, we can move on. Let's look at what I think is the biggest culprit in the large rash of failing lottery winners. In this book, we'll examine the human condition as it relates to money and the lack of it. This book will also ask questions that aren't being asked, such as, is it possible that the lottery isn't cursed, but the human condition is cursed? Because as I see it, money is on a paper that is an authority, like our government declares as something that has value, and we've bought into the system. Even though it's backed by debt, only the dollar is still sought as having value. So to understand this, we really have to change our perceptions of what the dollar really is and its purpose. But that's a whole other book for another subject. We'll examine both the horror stories and success stories of lottery winners. By doing this, we'll have an idea of what goes through the winner's mind after the initial shock of winning passes. Hopefully, by many points of emphasis in the various parts of the book, on getting your emotions in check, will help the future lottery winner to adopt a method that many wealthy business people use. Remember the phrase, let me sleep in it. Let me sleep on it. Well, it's a method that's used by people that understand emotional decisions usually end up being bad decisions. Emotions tend to cancel out rational behavior or thinking. Emotions are very powerful. Look at a recent lottery winner, a mother of four that bailed her boyfriend out of jail with a $9 million bond. Many were saying they wouldn't have done anything that dumb, yet there are a large number of lottery winners losing their millions in a few short years. So do you think they were doing something smart or dumb to lose all of their winnings? With this book, you get to ask yourself, what would I do if I won the lottery? Would I do something like this, or would I take the time to think it through before making any decision? You can then read some of the things that past winners who lost their fortunes did and compare your answers. My goal with this book is to help future lottery winners to stop, think, and remain in control after you realize that you're not dreaming. Get your closest rational thinking family member or friend and start formulating a plan for the sudden fortune you just acquired. Just because your friend's or cousin has a college degree doesn't mean they are the most rational thinking one in the group. I'm just saying. But the two best things you can do are find a financial estate planner and to relocate, even if it's only temporary. If you know you have an addiction, then sign up for a rehabilitation program for drug, alcohol, or gambling addictions. If you have one of these addictions, your chance of creating a future of wealth for you and your family is greatly diminished. One past lottery winner that lost all was addicted to prostitutes and spent a considerable amount on them during his brief years as a millionaire. Many who have won the lottery said their lives were simple before they won. They also went as far as to say they wish they had never won, as in the case of Andrew Jackson Whitaker Jr. of West Virginia. Even though Whitaker Jr. was already a millionaire with a construction business, he suffered some terrible tragedies, and many of them too. But I'm going to stop right here. I just want to give you guys an idea of what's in the book. If you're interested, you can go to Amazon and download it. It's not that much. I think this number right here is in won, Japanese won, because it's been getting a lot of traction in Japan for some reason. So, but I just want to thank you guys for letting me come on his video and introduce my book to you guys. Go have a look. Tell me what you think. And I will put this on there. Leave this up for a while on my page. And I will also put it on YouTube. And I would love to give you guys feedback on it. And like I said, once again, I'd like to thank the people who participated in my survey as I did them doing for the writing of this book. So this is Michael with Real Estate Bloodhounds. I am out.